Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News Watch. I'm Erin Johnson.
Now, as we know, the ASU Cronkite School campus is very close to this site, and people are beginning to wonder about the students' safety. However, not to fret, the students are safe. And therefore, he created these helium-filled balloons known as the Silver Cloud sculpture. The FBI is investigating how a 16-year-old claims to have hitched a ride from California to Hawaii in a plane's landing gear. But there's no doubt this pileup has created an array of interesting stories. I've talked with some of the drivers, and some people said they would rather take their bike to work. That 18% stands for the 151 pedestrians that were killed in 2013. Republicans say Second Amendment rights are under attack, while most Democrats voted against the bill. All four bills are headed back to the House for final approval. We'll see you back here tomorrow night for the latest in news, weather, and sports. Good night. Airports aren't normally known for entertainment. People wait around for connecting flights or visitors to land. But something has made its way to Terminal 3, and it's turning heads and gears.
I'm not really too sure what it is.
Yeah, not sure it is, but it definitely catches your eyes.
Steampunk the Exquisite Adventure offers a variety of cogs and wires with drawn art, elaborate clothing, and unique machinery. Alyssa Pedersen and Hillary Walker said they have never seen anything like this, especially in an airport.
I've noticed that there's art kind of all around this airport, and I thought that was really unusual.
I've been to a few and I haven't seen any like the exhibits and the art that we have here, and it definitely makes me want to kind of explore.
And exploration is what steampunk is all about. Fusing science fiction with the Wild West, steampunk has become a hobby for all age groups.
The steam in steampunk was inspired by the age of steam-powered machines, and the punk represents the artist's individual declaration of creativity to stand out through style, gears, and attitude.
Casey Bros, a member of the Bros Brothers triplets, was one of the artists with work on display at the airport.
I created Sonic Boom Sally.
And he said submitting his art to the airport was beyond what he ever expected.
I think it's an honor, honestly, to be asked to have something that I just make as a hobby to be placed in front of millions of people.
The brothers said airports benefit from hosting art because it gives guests an adventure while waiting for their flight. This is Erin Johnson, Cronkite News, Phoenix. On a beautiful day such as this, it's a shame to wait bored at a crosswalk. So people do what will make the wait less painful. They start to text. Listening to music and making phone calls are also common to see. But these actions are more dangerous than most people believe.
One time I actually almost walked out in the street and I said, you know what, I should double check this, and I looked up and I realized it wasn't my turn to go, and I almost got hit by a car. Luckily I didn't, but I've actually heard of some people like kind of getting clipped and things like that.
Although there is no law in Arizona preventing distracted walking, local police officers are still doing the best they can to provide public safety.
Being aware of your surroundings is one of the general principles. Walking and texting is one of the challenges we have, especially when you're in and around the university.
According to Dr. Alan Williams for the Governor's Highway Safety Association, 18% of all motor vehicle accidents occurring in 2013 involved pedestrians in Arizona.
That 18% stands for the 151 pedestrians that were killed in 2013, simply perhaps because they weren't paying attention.
However high these numbers, pedestrians are still unaware of the dangers they face when they walk distracted. Not unlike this man, who appears to be so distracted he lost track of where he was going, even after the light turned green.
It's kind of scary just because they don't really know what's going on around them, and people aren't always paying attention to what they're doing on the roads.
So remember that the first step of being safe is being aware. This is Erin Johnson, Cronkite News, Phoenix. He was surrounded by color and famous celebrities. His passion for fame never ended. And this next month, his works are being shown at the Phoenix Art Museum to enjoy for the first time. These portraits have traveled all the way from the Andy Warhol Museum in Pittsburgh, and with a lot of packing, made it safely to Phoenix. Jerry Smith, curator of the exhibit, went through the laborious task making sure each portrait was in mint condition.
They're condition reports done by a courier from the Warhol Museum who looks at very closely at each image to see if there's been any variation from the time they packed it to when it's going up on the wall here.
The exhibit opens with a large, dramatic self-portrait of the artist, and his art tells us of his obsession with celebrity fame. When Warhol graduated from art school, he moved to New York City to paint as a commercial artist. He painted picture after picture of famous faces like Grace Jones, Prince, Marilyn Monroe, and Queen Elizabeth II. Warhol even experimented with blacklighting to create his rendition of The Last Supper, also on display at the museum.
Andy Warhol not only dedicated himself to pop art screen prints. In fact, in 1966, he said that he was done with painting, that it was simply a phase in his life. And therefore, he created these helium-filled balloons known as the Silver Cloud sculpture.
The exhibit also displays some of Warhol's films. Not exactly your average short film, most of his ran over 6 hours long. In films like Eat, Kiss, and Sleep, Warhol slowed footage to give the video appearance of a moving picture. Museum worker Chelsea Ellsworth thinks that he would be amazed by today's culture.
I think if Andy could have seen social media and to what it has turned into today and reality TV and things like that, and how everyone is just seeking out that 15 minutes of fame, I think he would have really been blown away by it because it's exactly what he predicted.
The exhibit opens today at the museum and features more than 170 of Warhol's works. This is Erin Johnson, Cronkite News, Phoenix. It starts as a simple transaction, a swipe of a card and you're done. But for scammers, it is just the beginning. Through online shopping, records, and company breaches, identity thieves can hack into your personal files and take your identity.
It makes your life worse. You know, it's not like you just go call somebody and say, hey, somebody stole my identity, fix it. You have to jump through so many hoops.
Lori Maxwell had her identity stolen from someone she trusted, her housekeeper.
Once we figured out it was her doing it, we called the police, and the police said, there's nothing you can do because you're not out the money. The credit card company is out the money.
Former Attorney General of Arizona Tom Horne said, "We answer more than 165 calls and emails per day on the consumer hotline and assisted nearly 1,000 consumers through our senior task force number last year." Maxwell said she didn't lose any money from the theft, but noticed a pattern on her statements.
She would do it always under $1,000 because that's the number with the bank cards that they won't go after you.
It isn't just private consumers who are at risk. Businesses lose millions of dollars every year through identity theft.
David Smith has owned Big Daddy's Sports Lounge for 28 years and just recently had his first problem when an employee's relative committed identity theft.
And her brother took one of the checks, scanned it, washed it, put his name on it, signed my name, and proceeded to try to get $50 out of me.
Smith says checking his bank statements daily helps prevent theft, but the problem is not going away.
It's getting rougher and rougher out there in business. People finding different ways to scam money.
For MCO 502, I'm Erin Johnson. At Pop Culture Paradise, located across from ASU campus in Tempe, collectors of comic books and cards face each other in an epic duel. Some players take the game very seriously and go to tournaments, but others just come for the fun of the game and the thrill of teaching a new player.
The community is really helpful about teaching new people how to play, honestly. I have a few friends who've come in and been totally baffled and be like, oh, I don't know what this card does, somebody please explain it. And there's 30 people ready to explain it to you right on the spot.
Each player in Magic is known as a planeswalker, and each deck of cards represent the weapons and creatures summoned to defeat their opponents.
This black one right here in the corner, and this is actually a promo version I traded for it. It's a 6/6 with Swamp Walk, which means it cannot be blocked if the other person is playing black, essentially.
With such beautiful artwork and a competitive style, it's a wonder to these Magic players why more people aren't eager to jump in. Magic has been played for over 20 years in 11 different languages. Some players have been playing nearly as long as the game has been alive.
It's a hobby I've had for 16 years now, actually. I started playing when I was 10. It's pretty addicting. Some people say it's a drug.
So, if you ever want to explore the multiverse of Magic, you can attend Friday Night Magic in local game and comic shops. For MCO 502, I'm Erin Johnson.